welcome to my kitchen, a new episode of What's for Dinner. Tonight we're going to be making chicken and shrimp fajitas, and we're going to be using that fajita seasoning mix that I showed you how to make in a previous video. And really simple, let's get started. I have about 12 limes that I got in a bag off of the produce clearance rack. I went ahead and I squeezed them, and there's about a cup of juice in here. I may or may not use all of it. I have about a half a pound of shrimp. This is my frozen shrimp that I had in the freezer. I just took it right out of the freezer just not 10 minutes ago, and I ran it under some warm water in a strainer. I let it all melt and then I peeled it. Now I have about 2 pounds of chicken tenders, which I sliced on the bias into like 3 pieces each. And then I also have some garlic. And here is the fajita seasoning that I made up. Remember, this has garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, paprika, cumin. It has some salt-free seasoning, and this is a salt-free seasoning. We didn't put any salt in here at all. And there's some oregano in here as well. So, basically, this couldn't be easier. I have my cast iron skillet sitting on the stove over there, but first we're going to want to marinate this a little. So I'm going to put the chicken in there, I'm going to put the shrimp in there, the garlic. That's about 4 cloves of garlic. And then I'm going to use... I'm just going to grab a spoon here. Sam. I'm going to just sprinkle in 1, 2, 3 heaping spoonfuls of fajita seasoning.
I'm surprised your other little helper's not over here.
And then let's say about a cup of lime juice. That's lime juice. You can use lemon juice and lime juice, and I'm going to put about a 1/2 cup of water. Just because if you don't, then you're actually going to cook the shrimp. Give this a good zhuzh. Get it all mixed up. Happy. Now, I want you to just sit this on your counter for 10-15 minutes and go do something else. You can slice up your peppers and your onions to go along with your fajitas, and then everything will be ready at once. So, how easy was that? When we're ready to come back and cook this, I'll bring you along. You're gonna get splattered. Okay, we're back, and I have separated the chicken out from the shrimp because I don't want to put the shrimp in all at one time with the chicken because you'll have little shrimp erasers. I have about 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil in my pan. And just let this go, and it's going to cook pretty quick. I've got my pan on fairly high heat because you want this chicken to cook fairly quickly. And all this liquid is going to evaporate out of there, so no worries. I promise it's going to evaporate quickly because this pan is hot. Mm-hmm. I'm going to wash my hands. Just like that. And you see how fast this is going to cook. And then after we get the chicken all cooked up, we're going to toss the shrimp in here and give that a stir. Then we're going to take all of that out of the pan and we're going to put it in a pie plate. And then we're going to cook up our veggies, and then we're going to serve dinner. I do not mix my vegetables and my meat together because some of us don't enjoy that. Micah especially does not like the onions and the peppers together with the meat. So, how hard is it to keep it separate? It's not hard at all.
They cook at different times too, don't they?
Exactly. Well, you don't want to... I wouldn't... I mean, you could, I guess, throw the peppers and the onions in here after you get all the meat, but, I don't want the shrimp to be overcooked, and that's just not going to be yummy. It's going to be kind of gross, actually. See, this is almost close to being done. Sam, what do you smell? You like Mexican food too? Huh? Alright, so we're going to let some of this water evaporate a little bit, and then we're going to finish cooking off the chicken, and then I'm going to bring you right back when I get ready to put the shrimp in. Okay, our chicken is just about done. That tastes really good. I'm going to toss my shrimp in there. Give it a stir. See it already starting to cook. This chicken is nice and tender. Whoops.
Oh. Bibs.
Sammy got it. And it doesn't take long for these shrimp to cook all the way through. Once they're opaque and a little bit pink, they're done. But now we cooled off the pan ever so slightly. Want to let it come up to a simmer. So get those shrimp nestled down in there so that they can cook nicely in that simmering liquid. And it's okay if you don't evaporate all the liquid in here. I mean, the liquid is where a lot of the flavor is anyway, so when you build your fajita, you're probably only going to take the chicken and the shrimp anyway, so. And I would have done, you can do it all shrimp, you can do it all chicken, you can do this with pork tenderloin, you can do it with round steak, or some London broil that you freeze a little while and then slice really thin. You can make fajitas out of anything. And if you do shrimp and chicken and beef, that's called a fajita tejano. And that's one of my favorite things to get at the Mexican restaurant. These are done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to spoon it over here into my pie plate. I love using pie plates for things like this. I love using pie plates for leftovers. You've seen me build a taco salad in a pie plate. We love to use them for all kinds of things. I especially like using pie plates to serve things like this, and especially when you're cooking and you need to spoon something off into another dish. The pie plates are nice, and if you need something to cool off a little more quickly, the pie plate is good because it's flat and has a broad top, so the only other thing I'm going to do...
The best thing we use pie plates for is once in a while we'll get takeout Chinese.
Yeah.
And they make excellent dishes for your Chinese cooking.
They do, because you know what I like to do is, I'm going to just bring this over here. And pour that over. I don't want to waste all that good flavor. I'm going to hit this with a little more sunflower oil. About 2 tablespoons, I'd say. And here I have several small green peppers that I picked out of the garden, and 3 medium-sized onions. And when you start cooking this up, this is going to smell exactly like it does when the waiter walks past your table with a sizzling plate of fajitas for someone on the other side of the restaurant. I kid you not, your house will smell just like a Mexican restaurant when you do this. Now, the only other thing I'm going to do here, I am going to hit this with a little bit of salt. So here's some pink salt going in there. And I'm going to hit this with a sprinkle of our fajita seasoning. About a tablespoon. I'm going to saute these up until the onions are a little bit translucent, and then when it's time to fix us some fajitas, we'll be back. Alright, we're back, and our vegetables are all finished cooking. It didn't take more than a few minutes, and while they were cooking, I gave them a stir every now and then, and I'm warming some tortillas over here. I want to talk to you about the importance of this particular little task. You know, I love to make my own tortillas, and I do often. However, when it's a busy night and I don't have enough homemade tortillas on hand, then I do rely on a good quality store-bought tortilla. And a lot of people may just take this and eat it just like this, but you're really depriving yourself of a delicious experience by not getting out your skillet or a dry frying pan and heating it up over a medium flame and just heating this tortilla up. You see how plain it looks? You know, these look plain, poor tortillas, right? When you heat these up, they change their flavor and you get the full experience of what a tortilla should really taste like. Not to mention, they get much more pliable when they're warm. And all you have to do is stick them in this dry pan and heat the one side, then flip it over. And I like to make sure you'll be able to tell when it's ready because it starts to look a bit drier and it may puff up a little. You'll be able to tell. You're also getting a little bit of that residual moisture out of it that may have, you know, settled in there when it was in the package. So, you know, these have a shelf life, and I always keep my store-bought tortillas, I keep my homemade tortillas in the freezer or in the refrigerator. If I make tortillas from scratch, I make sure that I cool them and I put layers of parchment in between them, and then I put them in a bag, a dozen at a time. And then I just put them off to the side. But here I have a couple that I've warmed on a plate. This is how I like to have my fajitas. You can fix them any way you like. You can roll them yourself, but I'm just going to serve myself some fajitas because I like to eat mine bite for bite. I like to have, I'll take a half of a tortilla and then I will roll it with a little bit of the meat and some of the veggies. And just like you get at the Mexican restaurant.
Some assembly required.
Right, some assembly required. But then I'm going to bring it over here.
Speed bump.
I'm sorry.
Coming.
And then, you know, you can do this if you like, or you can just put it off to the side or whatever. But a little bit of cheese. And some sour cream. Because I enjoy sour cream, excuse me, sweetie, with my fajitas. Just like that. Ta-da! Fajitas made at home in no time flat, and you didn't have to go spend $50 for a Mexican dinner. They're really easy and they're really delicious, and really, aside from the shrimp, which I realize not all of you can live on the coast and not all of you can be fortunate like I am to live close to the ocean, but still, you can make fajitas out of anything. I hope you try it, I hope you love it, and until next time, I'll see ya!